I'm your host, and today, we've got a fascinating story to share. It's a conversation that echoes the power of standing up for what's right and the importance of community in a time of growing uncertainty. Mike Adams, founder of BrightLearn, sat down with an incredibly brave and insightful man, Doc Pete Chambers. Doc Pete is a veteran, a whistleblower, and now the head of a new and vital ministry. The interview was packed with crucial insights, and I want to break down some of the highlights for you. First, let's talk about the context. Doc Pete and Mike discussed the looming threat of price controls on food, a policy that's been tried and failed in countries like Venezuela. Pete, with his first-hand experience in Venezuela, shared a vivid picture of what happens when a government tries to control food prices. It's not just about economics, it's about the human cost. When food becomes scarce, people flee. They leave their homes, their communities, and their country. This is what we call the human osmosis effect. People naturally move from areas of scarcity to areas of abundance. Mike and Pete delved into why price controls lead to food shortages. When producers can't make a profit, they stop producing. Simple as that. It's a lesson in basic economics that seems lost on many politicians. The result? Black markets emerge, where food is sold at inflated prices, and the government often cracks down, arresting those who are just trying to survive. But here's where the conversation took a turn. Pete, with his deep understanding of military strategy and current affairs, pointed out that the groundwork for such crises has been laid over decades. He mentioned how subsidies to farming, starting as far back as the Jimmy Carter era, have distorted the agricultural sector. Instead of farmers growing food, they're being paid not to grow. This has led to a situation where foreign entities, like Chinese investors, are buying up land to grow crops that can't be eaten, like marijuana. It's a disturbing trend that undermines our food security. Mike and Pete also discussed the broader implications of these policies. They talked about the coordinated efforts to sabotage the food infrastructure, from burning down facilities to using faulty COVID tests to shut down meatpacking plants. It's a pattern that suggests a deeper, more sinister agenda. But the most significant announcement came towards the end of the interview. Doc Pete shared that he's launched a new ministry called the Remnant Ministry. This isn't just any ministry. It's an association of churches and community groups working together to provide essential services, from border operations to community support. The goal is clear: to be prepared for the challenges ahead and to stand in the gap for those in need. Doc Pete's ministry is about more than just providing physical assistance. It's about spiritual preparation and community resilience. In a world where fear and uncertainty loom large, the ministry aims to bring hope and a practical, faith-based approach to problem-solving. They're already making a difference, from distributing food to communities hit by fires and natural disasters to standing up for the truth and exposing lies. One of the most compelling parts of the interview was Doc Pete's discussion of the role of the church. He expressed deep frustration with churches that have turned their backs on their communities during times of crisis, like the COVID lockdowns. Pete believes that the authentic church, the remnant, has a critical role to play in the survival of our nation. It's about standing for what's right, even when it's not easy. Pete and his team are not just talking. They're doing. They're a do tank, as he puts it, focusing on action and service. They're working to develop rescue and recovery teams, partnering with other organizations, and even helping to establish local meatpacking plants to ensure food security. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize the importance of what Doc Pete and his team are doing. In a world where many are waiting for the government to solve our problems, it's essential to remember that change often comes from the ground up. It comes from people like Doc Pete, who are stepping up to serve their communities with courage and faith. If you're inspired by this story, consider supporting the Remnant Ministry. Visit their website, theremnantministrytexas.org, to learn more and get involved. Whether it's through donations or volunteering, your support can make a real difference. Thank you for joining me on this episode of BrightLearn. We'll be back with more stories that inspire and inform. Until then, stay curious, stay engaged, and remember, we are stronger together. Take care.
This has been a BrightLearn.ai summary of an interview between Pete Chambers and Mike Adams on August 16th, 2024. The full interview is available at brighteon.com, where you can also find podcasts and special reports by Mike Adams and other creators. Visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage of this interview and breaking news on critical stories that will keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.